And we should be live. Hello, spacemen and the 1 in 1,000 space women. Literally, my viewership stats say that only 0.1% of my viewership is female. We're going to do a Pwnagotchi custom faces mod using iconography from the Hackers movie in anticipation of completing my Hackers movie pager Pwnagotchi case for real this time. I'm struggling now today, not just because I don't feel well, but also because my cat is climbing all over everything. This is the Pwnagotchi Hackers case. If you can kind of see it there, I'll have photos up on the Discord and Cyberspaceman Mike. Like I said, I'm not feeling much better, but I'm well enough to fake it, and more importantly, I did some refresher courses on Nano, so things should go much more smoothly this time. For this tutorial, I recommend a web browser, PuTTY, FileZilla, a Pwnagotchi, and of course, you know, Pwnagotchi, you're gonna need that, and custom faces files in the form of a series of appropriate named PNGs. And you can get the Radical Edward series on. She's gonna lean into the keyboard and create a whole bunch of problems. All right, there we go. You can get the Radical Edward series from cyberspacemanmike.com for free, and I'll be putting the Hackers series up there too soon. So we're going to be creating some folders, backing up files, editing some files, and side-loading the face images. To do that, we'll be using some basic Linux commands, learning Nano, and using chmod, which stands for change mode, and use that to change the permissions on folders to edit permissions. And so this is a nice little Linux introduction as well. What we're going to be doing is following along with Rigu's tutorial on GitHub. If you're like me, though, you prefer your tutorials in YouTube format, so that's why this video is certainly not redundant and unnecessary. We definitely need it. It's also definitely not redundant in all seriousness, because some of the code on GitHub is incorrect. And on 1.5.5 fix, it means your Pwnagotchi won't look left or right, and it screws up the uptime clock functionality. And I've been told by Dr. Schlotke users that the incorrect code will completely crash their Pwnagotchis. So it's important to get this right. All right, so you can see I'm already logged into PuTTY here, and via SSH, and I've entered my password. This is a Cyberspaceman Mike image that I flashed the cards with, so it's nearly stock. It's not going to be much different from, you know, flashing it with the 1.5.5 fix image. Now she's going after the strings on my hoodie. So this is, I thought things were going to go smoothly. Of course they will not, but bear with me and we'll get this done. All right, so the first thing we're going to want to do is, let's get rid of the FileZilla for now so we can see Rigu, and we'll, let's see, we'll move everything around so that we can see both at the same time. This is the stuff here hearing in the background, and we've got ChatGPT standing by the ready just in case we're stumped halfway through again. All right, let's move this over here and slide this to the left. I'm not sliding that to the left. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is get super user. And to do that, we're going to type in exactly what it says on the GitHub page, sudo su. And let's see if that worked. Lami root, and now we're going to change directory all the way to the top. CD for change directory, list to make sure we're in the right place. Are we? Well, this is where they want us to create the folders for the backups, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to be backing up, creating some files. Oh my God, we're going to be creating some folders to back up to, backing up the files, and then editing the files. So here we go. Make directory, files, back up, and if you press the up key, it'll retype in what you've just typed in, and you can go back further in time too if you've typed in even more you need to get to. Alright, and they're all there now. Now we're going to change the directory again, but instead of typing all that in, we're going to copy and paste it. Now, we learned out the hard way, there are buttons here for you to copy, but it's going to copy not just the commands, but the command prompts, and that's going to get us into trouble. So, instead, we're going to be very specific about selecting only the stuff after the hash symbol, including the I there at the end. Then when we go into Putty, we just right click and it appears like magic. Although, what happened? Looks like it did it twice. No? Okay, we're good. And there's some of the stuff we need to modify. We're going to stop the system, copy, right click, list again, and it matches components.py, faces.py. We're probably going to do faces.py first. We're going to copy it to the directory we just created. Right click and do that. And now we want to open up the faces.py file in Nano. And it says add these attributes to the code resulting in the following. So really it's just these 3 lines here we're going to copy. We're going to use the arrow keys to scroll down. It's right here at the end. I think we can right click it and it will appear just like in the command line. And now it already has a name, so usually I just hit Control X, save changes, file name, enter, and we're good to go there. Now let's move on to the next file. Backup first, then edit. I'm going to copy this. We're copying components.py to the backup file. And now we're going to edit it. Now if you look at Nano here, the caret symbol there represents the control key. So we're going to try to find, I think the most unique word here is maybe text or widget. So let's hit Control W, search widget, and does it highlight it for us? What went wrong? All right, well, we've found it manually here. Let's just try that again to see why that didn't work. Search widget. Okay, good enough, I suppose. But let's see. As soon as you start scrolling, you lose sight of it. I'm going to have to take even further refresher courses in Nano. Anyways, class text widget, all the way down to def draw text fill self color. So we're seeing all that here in Putty. We're going to select all that and replace it with this. All right, so let's copy this first. Control copy, go back to Putty. Alt A to start marking. I don't know why. Do we unmark it? How can we unmark it? How do we unmark? Alexa, how do you unmark in Nano? Alt-Shift-6. I would never guessed that. All right. So it's very embarrassing for me to show you. I was trying to look up port 21 and 22. I'm just going to go ahead and admit that I did not realize that, or I've forgotten it since the Security Plus exam, that Secure FTP, as opposed to FTP Secure, uses 22, the same as SSH, and of course FTP uses 21 as a port. All right, back into PuTTY. What did it say again? Alt-Shift-X. This is ridiculous. Why not just toggle it with... Anyways, all right. So let's try this again. Alt-A, 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 mark set, mark unset. So I can unset it with the same thing? Let's just try. Okay, so you don't need Alt-Shift-X. We're learning, slowly but surely. And let's get back to GitHub and get back to PuTTY. And we're going to delete all this. Control K just to delete all of it at once. That also does cut. Oh, but now we're going to have to re-copy this. And go back into PuTTY. And looks like we're good to go. Control X, save yes. And now we're going to copy backup view.py. So let's just copy this while we're here. And right click. And now open it up. We're looking for the, let's try the search again. Sleep. It went right to it this time. All right, I don't know what I did wrong the first time around, but we're going to take all that and replace it with this. And I'm going to use Control K again, so we might as well get in here. Alt A, mark set. I'm going to select all of this and delete it. And we're going to go back, copy this, and right click. And I'm going to indent it just to line it up here. Jan, hello, how are you? Thank you for joining me. Kind of going out on a limb here and demonstrating how bad my nano editing and Linux skills are in general, but hopefully we'll get through this. Control X, Y for yes, enter, and that's saved, and we're moving on to the next part. Control copy, right click, enter. So we've stopped the service. We're going to edit config.toml. Copy that, paste it here. A lot of copying and pasting in this. Al's Journey, hello to you too. How are you? How's everybody doing? The excuse I've been using for performing so poorly during these live streams is that I'm not doing too well, in all honesty, but we're going to get through this. Feeling a little under the weather. All right, so you can see this is an image I created. It's not completely stock. And anytime I need a new Pwnagotchi, I just flash this image. And one of the important things is that I always set D off to false so that it's not a denial of service attack. But it's saying to replace this, which isn't there, with this. So what we're just going to do is add it. So Control copy. Oh, first time. Okay, good. Nothing to compare to. That takes a lot of the pressure off. I appreciate that. What we're doing is updating the custom faces using Rodrigu's code and tutorial. But here's where it runs into problems. So see if you can spot the problem here. Well, again, we've got nothing to compare to in this instance as well. So I'll just tell you, in the images file and in the GitHub, oh, cool. Nice. I'm considering doing my master's at WGU. Where's your university? If you don't mind my asking. Not to dox you or anything. But in the GitHub it says name your PNGs using underscores, and then in the code it uses dashes. And on the 1.5.5 fix, that means that it's going to keep your Pwnagotchi from looking left and right, and also screw up the uptime clock. And on the Dr. Schlotke image, it will actually crash the image, so we want to correct this here. All underscores. Austria, nice. Christopher Waltz, that's all I really know about Austria. But, I mean, I haven't been to Europe yet. I've been to Korea, Japan, Kuwait, Middle East, Asia. I'd like to visit Europe eventually, if I can. All right, so I'll correct now. Yes, enter. And we're going to press the up key twice and stop the service again. Or restart, okay. So we don't want to stop it again. That would be ridiculous. Who would do that? We want to restart it. Now, the next part is we got to do FileZilla. Oh, we should have done FileZilla before that, shouldn't we have? Maybe we do want to stop the service. All right. I don't know if that's going to screw it all up, but let's go into FileZilla. And let's bring up a FileZilla so we can see FileZilla. I would build a Pwnagotchi no matter what, just to... It's a masterclass in troubleshooting, if nothing else. And, I mean, that's basically what I've been using it for, is learning Linux, you know, getting other people interested in cybersecurity, and, you know, just messing about with it. I mean, it automatically does deauth, so I don't know if it would help you necessarily learn it, but in terms of demonstrating and performing it, it's useful. All right, so up here, we're going to go 10.0.0.2, username Pi, password, it's a fresh image, so I'm still using the default password, and secure FTP is also over 22. And what we're going to do is go right up to the top level here and go to custom faces. And then over here, we're going to go to desktop. And here are all the faces. Oh, and here's where we're going to run into a problem. We're going to drag it over here and it's not going to upload. And the reason is open for write, permission denied. So we gotta chmod everything. Chmod? I don't know. All right, so custom faces is in the top directory. CD ls, is it there? Custom faces, it is. Chmod, we're just gonna, you know what? How do we just do L custom faces? I think it's currently, I think we can look it up here too. So it's 755 currently, so we'll write it back to 755 afterwards. All right, chmod 777 custom faces. Bless you, kitty. I built mine on my own, and I created a fairly well-received video on it. So please look that up. There's part 1 hardware and part 2 software, and it not just walks you through the tutorial, but does a bit of troubleshooting. I go over some of the common problems people always seem to encounter, so I highly recommend checking out my channel and looking up the first and second videos. All right, so we've made it super permissive. And let's try to upload it again. Yay, we were successful. And because we're cybersecurity professionals and we practice the best practices, we're gonna turn it right back. And you know what? Let's restart the service again. Excuse me, and see if it works. I'm just going to be looking at my Pwnagotchi off screen, and if it works, I'll show you that it worked, and if it doesn't work, I'll tell you that it worked and not show you that it didn't work. Deal? In the meantime, I'm going to bring up the Restream chat window. Also, I very much appreciate it when people chat with me during the stream. It's makes it a lot easier than just kind of talking to yourself like a crazy person. So I do appreciate the interaction. It worked! I did this last night and it did work. I'm just saying that it worked. I have no indication of that yet. Yeah, my nephew and I do a series called Retro Gaming Roulette, Random Retro Gaming Roulette, in which we have a spreadsheet of like 20,000 games on an emulator, and the spreadsheet selects 4 at random, and we play those, and that's really fun. We don't have a ton of viewership yet. Let's stop it and restart it again. I don't know that stopping it is necessary, but let's go through all the motions. The first time I went around doing this, it took me like 3 tries, and rather than like try to troubleshoot the code, I just started from the beginning and redid it. I'm imagining I have some sort of syntax error somewhere, and potentially that's why it doesn't seem to be working yet. Yeah, viewership or no, we have a good time. It's always fun seeing, you know, seeing crazy, obscure video games. Basically, I mean, half the time we don't know what the objective is, what the buttons are, and we really struggle through it, but I'd watch it. It's entertaining to me. Let's... I'm going to go back here and poke around in the code. What I should do is off camera just save faces.py, components.py, you know, the completely edited version, so that people can just upload them and overwrite them rather than having to deal with any sort of faulty syntax and that sort of thing. Let's go into faces.py, see if everything's here. You know, I wonder if it was the order of operations that screwed everything up. Because we didn't upload the images before we modified config.toml. I am scrutinizing the code. For face name in, face value in. So that looks good. Let's go to components. Even though last night's stream was a debacle, we got the results we wanted. Like, the faces worked. Alright, so class text widget. Yeah, that looks right. Unless I overwrote something at the beginning accidentally. I don't think so. And what was the last one? The faces file? No, the view file. Nano view.py. Did I not? No, I did this one. It was asleep. So it should say PNG at the end of the line here. There's no comma. Okay, so when you copy these things, make sure you copy the entire thing here, because I'm missing a comma at the end. Whoa, T is not the right answer. I don't know if that's going to make the difference. I don't know if that's going to make all the difference. It's going to make some of the difference. So we're rebooting. We're rebooting. We are rebooting. Owl's Journey, did you manage to find that video? And give it a brief perusal. Okay, so that one missing comma was all it took to fix it. Normally, I wouldn't peruse the code like that. I would just start all over from the top. But we got it working, and you can kind of see that's Dade's alternate symbol. So from Hackers, the movie. And I also have Acid Burn symbol on there. Yeah, one missing comma. It's always one missing comma. I should get a shirt. I should have a shirt printed up that just says one missing comma. All right, so we got to work. I hope you enjoyed all that. We did basically just following the tutorial and correcting some of the code, and then correcting some of our own mistakes is all it took. We used a web browser, Putty, FileZilla. We needed a Pwnagotchi, of course, and the custom faces files and form a series of accurately named PNGs. Again, you can get the Radical Edwards series from cyberspacemanmike.com for free. And I'll be putting the Hacker series up there soon. We're going to be creating some folders. I mean, we already created some folders. We backed up files, we edited some files, and sideloaded the face images using FileZilla. And so we used a couple of basic Linux commands. We learned a bit of Nano. It didn't always work the way we wanted it to. And chmod to edit the permissions. So I feel like we've accomplished all that we set out to do. And I appreciate you watching along and joining me and chatting with me. And I think eventually I'm going to create a condensed version of this tutorial where I edit out all the awkwardness. Until then, thank you very much. I should have a off-topic Tuesday video up Tuesday. And I'm going to work on not using so many filler words like and ah. Thank you for joining me. Bye now.